Hello walkers, and welcome to Seeley Lake, Montana. I am Henry and I am your proxy walker, your virtual travel guide today as we explore this resort town in western Montana. This is not the high season, not quite, it's kind of a shoulder season. And I'll get into that in a minute. I am going to say a secret word sometime in the next 10 minutes. And if you are the first person to repeat that secret word in the comments below, as according to YouTube timestamp, I will give you a shout out in a future video. It is early December and about 4 p.m. You can see the lights pretty low this time of year, this far north. And it is 37 degrees Fahrenheit according to my phone, 3 degrees Celsius, and elevation of 4,000 feet, population 1,600, and I think that does it for our statistics. The reason I have the secret word, as I've mentioned in previous videos that I've filmed actually today, is I'm trying to create sort of these fun little rituals and also to increase watch time. So the longer you watch this video, the better it is for me. And that's just a little treat to entice you to do so. If you are feeling like clicking away, it would actually be a fairly big thing for me if you were to just watch for another 30 seconds or so. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me today, and I'm going to take you around the pretty small little town of Seeley Lake, the walkable sections. It is a little late, and unfortunately in town there's no good access to the lake. We'll peek through some trees across people's properties. I'm going to make a right on B Street here, but we won't be able to actually go out to the lake. There is good access to the lake in the area at other National Forest access sites and parks, but it's a fair distance outside of town. So, what else am I going to say? I always have this, try to get this sort of spiel going, and then I kind of forget what I was going to say. Sorry about that, but I hope you guys are doing well. It is chilly here. I mentioned that it's shoulder season. I think in the summer, of course, there's a 1,000-acre lake right through towards the sun here. Hopefully we'll get to peek through the trees. You can see the boats on their trailers and that sort of thing. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's an excellent place to come during the summer and the hotter months and swim. The water's quite cold, but still good place to swim. And it's a good place to camp and go hiking and all sorts of fun outdoor stuff. In the winter, I think it's kind of popular with skidoos, snow sleds. And also, it's great for cross-country skiing. They have a groomed area just outside of town. And lots and lots of national forest land around to take advantage of. Gotta love that public land and public access where you can actually get to the lake or the mountains as opposed to being blocked off by private property. And I don't mean to sound resentful. Private property is great, but it's nice to have public lands where we can have access to wild places or beautiful places or places to recreate. I actually lived in a little town of Ovando, which is not far from here. And when I was just a wee little boy, and went to a little 2-room schoolhouse, and my wife, traveling Mel, and kids give me a hard time because I mention when I lived in Ovando quite often. They're like, yeah, we get it. But I haven't told you that before, I don't think, so you're in on the secret. They there is a sled dog race usually every year. I don't doubt they're doing it this year, but it is this cool race. Starts over in Lincoln, Montana, which I was hoping to get to today, but as always, I was running a little bit behind. Various issues, the fact that I had to eat lunch, that sort of thing slowed me down, and of course, the fact that we only have, I think it's 9 hours of sunlight in the day this time of year makes getting a lot done over a broad distance pretty challenging. I don't know if you can kind of see through the trees to the lake over there. It's all frozen over, great to ice skate on. Oh, but I was telling you about the sled dog race. Oh, I'm like a little squirrel. They start off, and there's a big sort of rally. You can go watch them take off from Lincoln. And depending on the snow year, I don't know if they end here every year, or if in low snow years they start and end here. I think it's called Race to the Sky, I think, and I think it's 100 miles. And the people where we used to board our dogs, they are mushers, and in fact have competed in the Iditarod. Anyway, they were racing it, and I think the daughter won her age class one year, or came in pretty high at the top. Here's a jealous dog. Hey, buddy. Yes. There's a better view of the lake. You really can't see too much because of the houses. It's quite beautiful. I apologize for the dog. He's going to follow us all the way around the corner, I believe. Fortunately for access, I mentioned that there is public parks and Forest Service access. Just outside of town is a fairly large campground with a lot of spread out camping sites and a couple little beaches along the lake. So those are fantastic places to, and that's going to be time for our secret word. I have to set an alarm for myself, or I'll forget to say the secret word. So the secret word for the day is going to be sled dog for Race to the Sky. So sled dog, put that in the comments. If you're the first one to put it in the comments, according to YouTube, their timestamps, then I will give you a shout out in a future video. This is Firehouse Road here. Here's the Seeley Lake Rural Fire District Fire Department. This dog does not want us around. Oh yeah, the campground. Great little place. We've camped there several times. And there's a lot of great trails outside of town. In fact, and there's a great music festival here called the Bob Marshall Music Festival. And it doesn't really have a genre as much as just sort of Americana maybe. And they have bluegrass and rock, some other stuff. But what's so great about it, in my opinion, is that it's just a really family-friendly music festival. It's pretty small, pretty tame. You can camp. It's right there outside of town. Kids can be let loose to run around and build forts, and they have beer trucks and food trucks and that sort of thing. And it's just a lot of fun, pretty chill thing to do. So it's usually in mid-June, depending on whether it's a pandemic year or not. I think it got canceled this year. Here's the Fat Hippie dispensary. This election year, Montana voted to have legal recreational marijuana. And so that's going to be coming to a dispensary near you if you're in Montana, or one of the other states that voted it in. Trying to see my time code. This is kind of I would classify it as probably a more conservative area. I think the primary industry around here outside of tourism is logging. It's a big lumber mill just on the south side of town along the lake. In fact, I took swimming lessons when I was, I think, 7 years old, just on the other side, maybe down somewhere near the lumber mill. I remember walking down there. And the other thing I remember is that I think it was in June, and the water was so unbelievably cold. So this is kind of where we started. We're going to continue on. I wanted to loop around through that neighborhood. Across the way, is the Blue River Station. They have great little ice creams and hot cocos and fun places to stop there, candy, that sort of thing. Jitterbug Java's Espresso is also a good place to get a cup of coffee. And then they have a gift shop, that sort of thing. Lots of, we're going to get away from this highway here in a second, maybe. That's what I was going to look up. I think it's Highway 83 is what this is. I'm going to cross over here. And we're going to loop kind of away from this main street, maybe. We're going to go down another block and loop over. Lots of vacation rentals in the area. You can rent a cabin. You can camp, as I mentioned. And then there are a couple of hotels as well. Then there's not a lot of restaurants, but there are a few. I mean, it is a small town. As we lose our light here, and there's a pizza place, some burger places, some nicer restaurants. Sort of sit down. There's a place called the Chicken Coop. Here's a Seeley Lake liquor store. If you follow 83 up north, you will eventually hit Polson. And if you stay to the east, you'll hit Big Fork and eventually Columbia Falls. And then if you go west instead of to the east, you will, from Polson, you'll get to Kalispell and Whitefish. We're not going to be doing that today. It's kind of a bit further than I want to go. I don't want to stay at a hotel, which is kind of what that would require. But possibly later in the winter, we might get up there. I always love people trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing with this little camera. It's a DJI Osmo Pocket. And I know that I look at people strangely when they are filming seemingly random, mundane things. But there's an audience for those things, and people enjoy them and get some happiness. Oh yeah, here you go. See the mountain peaks in the background there. Maybe we'll get a better view if we get to an open spot. Also further north is a place called Swan Lake. I think that's what it's called. And there is a father-son duo there who make cedar strip canoes. And they are absolutely beautiful works of art. And I would love to get one someday. I don't think I will, but I would love to. They are beautiful. This is not the kind of resort town that, I guess it's a resort town second. It's a logging town first. And you can see some of the relics of the industrial past and the hardscrabble past back here. And I didn't mean to imply that tourism was its primary number one economic driver, because I don't think it is. It's a nice add-on. There is, of course, dude ranches in the area, one of which is the the Double Arrow Ranch, which is part dude ranch, part resort, golf resort. I don't know. They have a golf course. You can go. I think they have some ski trails. They have a pool, and they have trail rides in the summer and that sort of thing. So I think this is the Seeley Lake School over here. And a town this size, it's bound to be, multiple grades. Not a lot of kids here, so I think they're all high school, middle school, that sort of thing. Some neighborhood that extends up into the hill there, and then the mountains beyond. They've had a couple forest fires come through here, and I meant to mention that earlier, where there's a trail not far outside of town. It's actually a couple miles, or I'd say maybe 10 miles, and down a dirt road, nice road, and the trail goes to a waterfall, beautiful, beautiful waterfall. But the last time we were here, we just went out to go hiking, and we noticed some people had picked some morels. I had never found a morel in my life, and that day we got more morels than we could carry. Well, I guess we didn't get more because we stopped when we couldn't carry anymore. It's a Stage Line Pizza. We have eaten there. Cool little log house, nice ambiance, and that's all I remember. Coming up on Larch Street. We are on Pine Street right now. I think of streets as being paved. These are not. A lot of people will heat with wood here. If you have a truck and a chainsaw, you can get a permit and I think take not as much as you want, but you can go get some free heating fuel, and people avail themselves of that. We're coming up on Locust Lane. Somebody remind me. I will try to do another walk in Seeley Lake in the summertime, if hopefully with the vaccine and all that fun stuff, we'll be able to all get together and do music concerts and all sorts of fun events and socialize again like that, and do it safely. I will do another walk along around here in the summer, and maybe some trails that I've mentioned, and maybe the beach. And you'll see what it's like in the summer. Now, I think it is, it's quiet partly because it's still in the middle of the workday, partly because it's on the shoulder season, and partly because of the recent happenings with the COVID numbers. So people are just not traveling right now. Well, that's not true. People should not be traveling right now, unless they are essential workers or just can't avoid it. So it's pretty quiet. To the left is, well, to the right, sorry, is Tamarack Resort, 2 miles north of town. I just wanted to show you that. They have lodging, rentals, amenities, that sort of thing. So 2 miles north of town is that direction. To our left is Clearwater, Montana Properties, and they do a lot of real estate in western Montana. So if you're looking for a little ranchette, check them out. And then across the way is Lindley's, the place for steak. It's a restaurant kind of on the lake, got great views. I don't think I've eaten there since I was 7, if it was around then. I have vague memories of going out to eat somewhere over there. They do have this great bike path through town, and if you look closely at, sorry, trying to get this thing to do right, this track that I'm walking along is a snow machine track. You see the 2 marks on the side look like tire tracks, and then the tread marks in the middle. Those quote-unquote tire tracks are actually from the skis on the front. And we're coming up here on the Coop, Chicken Coop and Lounge. Has a lot of not family-friendly connotations. You see the Seeley Lake sign up there to the right. So the road right past there will loop around the other side of the lake, the west side of the lake. And there's some housing back there, houses and sort of thing. A nice park, a couple camps, a campground, etc. So lots of access to the lake outside of town. We're going to cut back here to another residential street, get away from the traffic there a little bit. We'll go back up here into this little neighborhood. Hopefully we don't get mistaken for a bad hombre. I think this is actually just a loop around. Find out. So most of these trees, well, not those trees, that tree, those with the orange trunks, those are ponderosa pines. I believe this guy right here is a Douglas fir. And then it looks like maybe some spruce trees that are probably decorative. I love the smell of the ponderosa trees. People say they smell like vanilla if you get up close and give them a good sniff. I would agree. Not quite vanilla, but pretty close. Here we've got some deer coming into town. I think it's the rifle season is over now. Not that you can shoot them in town, but they certainly don't seem too worried. I see 1 off to the left, 2, 3, 4 in the middle, 5 in the back. Looks like a mama and her 2 little fawns. Oh, there's 6 in the back. Hey guys. Oh, 7. Hello. Can I go past? Thank you. They look a little bit insulted. Looks like this is the Fat Hippie garage, maybe, over here. Maybe the town needs 2 dispensaries. Maybe that's their grow house. Who knows? I do know that it is getting colder as the sun goes down. It happened up in Highlight the other day. It was close to 30 in the sun, Fahrenheit. But as soon as you got out of the sun, the temperature dropped like 10 degrees. And I'm not going to say I'm not prone to hyperbole, because I kind of am, but it got cold. Well, whatever the local weather station is says it's 2 degrees Celsius here right now, 36. So it's gone down 1 degree. If you're interested in the race to the sky, check out travelingmel.com. She's got a couple different blog posts from when we've gone, different years, and some photos and that sort of thing. Fun to see those. Fun to see the dogs. One of the things we like is that it's a pretty informal deal in the sense that it's not like it's not like a football game. Oh, look at those mountains. So beautiful. Anyway, we're on Juniper crossing Larch here. It's not a NASCAR race. It's a sled dog race in Montana. So what that means is all the racers get their sleds ready and their dogs ready out in the parking lot. And you can go by and say hi and talk to them and pet the dogs. Sometimes you want to ask permission first. Some dogs are not to be pet, but some of them are, and sometimes they'll have puppies out there, and it's great for kids. They love it. And you spend, you drive, for us, 3.5 hours. You spend an hour, maybe 2, get some snacks, some hot cocoa, and then you head home. But it's a lot of fun. So if you're in the area in winter, and I think it's in February, I think that's when that happens. So consider checking it out. It's either in Lincoln or Seeley Lake if it occurs. Hopefully they'll be able to do it this year. And it's a good time. I seem to recall, oh, look at those mountains. I seem to recall that the 4th of July is a lot of fun here too. You can get fireworks in the state of Montana. Most municipalities don't allow them in town. And of course, if it's been a dry year already, if they don't have enough rain, they may put the kibosh on them on public lands. So as to prevent forest fires, which have been such a problem the last few years, at least in California and Washington and Oregon. This is the back side of the high school, grade school, middle school, etc. If you're looking for property to move to Montana and you want to check out Seeley Lake, here's a house for sale. That little yellow one there. Ooh, by a real estate auction. So maybe you can get maybe it's an auction. Looks like it could use some work, but not too bad. I love this time of day and the evening. The sun is setting, the light is low. I'm not sure you can tell. I can't tell on this little screen if you guys will be able to see it, but the mountains, just the tips of the mountains are lit up with a little bit of sun. This is beautiful. This is the pizza place again, but I am going to cut over here because we missed the statue somehow. I was so focused on the pizza place that I didn't look at this statue. It looks kind of cool, so let's go check that out. I love these log houses too. There's something about them. I don't think they're the most environmentally responsible housing construction methods, but I don't actually know that. But they're beautiful, and I like the ambiance of the cabin. I think they can be overdone sometimes and is so sort of faux rustic. But this one looks pretty fun. Plus we're looking into the light, got that great color. Beauty. These vans have a sign that says, "I ride Seeley Lake." If I happen to remember, I'll try to look that up. It sounds like a shuttle company, or perhaps a little commuter company to get into. It says Van Pool. Anyway, here's a statue, bronze plaque, Grizzly Jack of the Rockies, a trapper on his horse. Pretty cool. Alrighty. I think with that, we are going to call this walk in Seeley Lake, Montana. Don't forget to comment about the secret word. Ooh, look at those mountains in the background. Do love those. In the comments section, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Click that bell to get notified of new videos. Leave us a comment. I love the comments. I love personal connections. I love questions. If you have questions, I'll try to answer those, or maybe somebody else can answer those. And finally, tell your friends about this channel. If they are stuck at home and need something to do during quarantine, to go on a virtual travel tour, I'd be happy to be their proxy walker. If they're on a treadmill or at the gym and looking for something fun to do besides the news or one of those vapid talk shows like, is it Ricky Lake was the one in the 90s? Somebody Jones and Jerry Springer, that's the one I'm thinking of. Anyway, this is, I think, a nice, relaxing alternative, or at least I hope it will be. Take care of yourselves, guys. Hang in there. It's going to be a bit of a trudge through the winter, but you can do it. We will see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.